Yo, what up? Welcome to another episode of Source and Company. I'm your host, Source, of course. As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Smitty Source on both of those. The Source and Company YouTube channel, Spotify as well. And you can follow the Source NCO podcast underscore RVA Instagram to follow the show and see what's next. All right. So today's company, we've had a lot of ballers on the show from Richmond hoops to Richmond football, etc. This young man played ball at Huguenot back in the we're gonna say the mid '90s. We're gonna call it the mid '90s, really the early '90s, but we're gonna call it the mid '90s. He went on to play ball in college, and he is now the COO of the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Richmond. His name, Sean Miller. What's good, bro?
What's happening, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Long time no see. Haven't seen you like in the flesh in a while. Everything good with you?
Yeah, everything good, man. Just surviving and trying to keep it moving.
Ain't we lucky we got, when people say something.
Exactly. Good times, you know it.
Oh man, so how things been for you in the COVID space? Shoot, we're almost at a year now, bro. We're in February now, so it's been 11 months. How have you been able to maneuver as far as with the family and even in the business part?
Yeah, man. So March 12th was the last day that we really had a full contingent in the office and in our building. So that was really, almost going on a year, like you said, was the last time we had people in the building and could move along freely. Personally, man, it's been a little tough. Had lost a couple family members, had a couple scares as far as exposure and things of that nature. But for the most part, just trying to stay safe and be an advocate for safety and healthy living. As far as that's concerned. As far as work, it's been tough not having hundreds of kids in our buildings each day. So we've had to pivot and try to figure out different ways to work with our teenagers and their families. And I'm really happy about some of the things we got going on as far as that's concerned. But at this point in time, just had to pivot and innovate. And when we reopen, we would not look like we did in March of 2020. So
For the better, of course, for the better.
absolutely, absolutely.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, obviously, it's tough on families. It's tough on the kids as far as their daily routine and dealing with you all and school and everything, pretty much. But it's tough on you all as well because it's all brand new. It's all brand new to all of us, really.
Right. Right. Yeah. And one thing that we recognized early on, and I mean, we had staff meetings like a couple times a week when it first hit, but staff was like taking a lot of weight on. So you had that personal stuff that was going on. Then we're talking to our families and our teenagers, and there was just a burden, man, and literally had to have conversations with folks to like, look, self-care is important.
Mhm.
Take some time to yourself. Couldn't really say go on vacation and get away because that wasn't safe, but
Right.
as a company, just really trying to identify and connect and understand everything else that our families are facing and even some of our staff are facing. That stuff starts to compound and it gets heavy. But got a solid team in place and really caring about our kids in the community, man. So it's been good.
That's great. Yeah, I think sometimes like I talked to a number of teachers over the past almost a year that I've been doing this, and I feel like they. I don't think a lot of parents. I shouldn't say a lot. I don't think some parents realize the burden. The same way the burden is on the parent to be at home and maybe work and take care of the child who may be at school, normally, the teacher is on the other side doing the same thing. So sometimes I'm like, I don't think people get the fact that teachers have that burden or caretakers or whatever you want to call them have that burden as well. And they're kind of like, y'all ain't doing enough. I don't know. I don't know if it's possible to do enough for everybody.
Yeah, pretty interesting, man. I think that there's no one magic pill or one great organization that can fix it all. One thing that we're doing, and I preach every day, is teamwork. And this is like checking our egos at the door. If somebody else does something better than you do, hey, so be it. Bring your strength to the table. I can bring mine, and that at least gives us a chance. But I think the days of be it not for profits or individual agencies or whatever, jockeying for a position. it's 30-some thousand kids, 24,000 kids in Richmond Public Schools. It's more than enough kids for all of us to be able to have impact. But we got to get to that collective impact is really the buzzword right now, as far
Mm.
as that's concerned.
So let's take it back before we get any deeper into the Boys and Girls Club. Let's take it back to your days as a youth. A
Long time ago.
little bit. I can't say it was too long ago because mine was just a little bit longer ago. But I reached out to one of your cousins who I've known for forever, Jerry,
Yeah.
and I was like, tell me something that I can ask Sean about that just catch him off guard. He said, ask him about grandma's house when we used to play
To
basketball
100.
to 100.
By twos in 1,000-degree heat. Yes. Yes, sir. What did he tell you? Did he tell you he won or what?
He actually did not say, which leads me to believe
He
that
didn't, right? Okay.
I don't know because you're a year younger than Jerry, right?
Yeah, I'm a year young. Yeah.
But that ain't too bad though. I mean, you can get beat by a younger cousin a year. I mean, ain't like you 3 years younger and dragged him. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we battled. We would go to 100 by twos in the heat of the summer. So I mean, yeah, we would play all day, man. I'm talking about on the dirt court that, if it rained and the truck drove through, you might have a ditch and really one of the crossovers back then. So it was one way short, left or right. And that was it. Had the big
How you
old back.
develop? That's how you developed it left right there. That's how you developed it left.
Hey, look, man, I probably didn't get a left hand. I didn't know my left hand worked probably until I got to like 8th grade, man. So that left hand stuff, if it went over there, it went right back. So
one bounce.
absolutely, yep.
I understand. I understand. So you went on to Huguenot, and I mean, people would say you were a prolific scorer. From what I remember, I actually asked Jerry. I was like, "Do you consider Sean to have been more of a scorer or a shooter?" He was like, "He was definitely a shooter." I was thinking score. I think you could get buckets however you wanted to get buckets back then. What would you have placed yourself as?
I think I was ahead of my time in terms of 3-point shooting, as far as that's concerned. But I always tell guys when we talk now that I think I had one of the better mid-range games out there. So of course, cats want to talk about you ain't go to the cup and lay up and dunk and all that stuff. I was like, look, I ain't need to. The pull up was on point. I had a pull up. I got a little step back from J.J. Williams from Highland Springs and all of that stuff. So, I mean, at that point, I think I was a hybrid of a shooter and a scorer. I mean, the bottom line, I did not just score 3-pointers. You know what I'm saying? So averaging 20 points. It was what it was. I was a good free throw shooter, and I could get to the cup a little bit when I needed to. But I was just fortunate to play against some guys, man, that were way more athletic than me. So I just had to do something different. And
Mm.
that mid range, that pull up is what was my bread and butter.
You did mention when we talked earlier. You did mention that you may just have, or at least had, the 3-point record at Huguenot.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you heard of this guy named Bo Jones Jr., but he came through. He might have went to the school you got on your hat right now, but he could play a ball a little bit. So Bo was a freshman when I was a senior, so that was my guy. But I think my senior year against George with packed house, I had a 40-point game against them, 8 3-pointers. And when I tell you, man, as a ball player, if you've ever been in the zone and that basket feels big, that was a night that I will always remember. And my own Pleasance, everybody, they fed me the ball. That was one night I did not have to fight for the ball to beg for it. It was coming to me. And I promise you that basket felt as big as I've ever had it feel before, man. So great night. Great way to go out senior night.
Wait, what? It was senior night?
Senior night, packed house, George with. Yep.
Wow.
The only thing that I hate, and I'm real tight with a couple of George Whip guys, is that they had a couple of guys that didn't they weren't eligible that game. But it didn't matter to me. And the bottom line is, I finally got my one victory against George Whip in my high school career. So it was all good. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But those my guys.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. And you mentioned Bo. I actually hollered at Bo as well. And he said that you guided him on and off the court since the eighth grade, and he couldn't ask for a better mentor. So when, as you mentioned, Bo went on to play at VCU. I mean, he was a star. He was a star. So what do you remember about a young Bo in those days?
Man, number one, just being around, being at Huguenot, he's a staple hole and footprint of the community, just like his dad. Um, but as a young kid, he just was fast, man. He was fast. He was just running out of control, fast, fast, fast. And he was probably one of the first guys I saw play with speed. And Bo really got better. Uh, and I mean, we had conversations, but it was like that change of pace. And it's hard to explain to somebody that really don't play the game, but when Bo just had that little pause in his game, that opened up everything. His confidence, and he's one of those guys, man. You know, he was a shooter, right? So Fats came before me, then Bo, and Fats was Mr. Exciting, right? Jump out the gym. I mean, I lived with Fats whenever I was down in Crispin Newport for a second. You know, great mentor as well. But I think Bo was like the most complete scorer, you know, out of the Huguenot catch that I saw or have seen since as well. Played both ends though, you know what I mean? And yeah, just played hard, man. Never back down. I can remember going back to Huguenot and scrimmage, and even when I was in college, and you know, the catch used to dominate the guys, but Bo would play hard, and it didn't matter if you were on the playground or you were in the gym. He was gonna play hard and go at your throat.
That's dope. That's dope. You also mentioned Moan, and I hollered at Moan too. Actually,
Oh man, okay.
I was like, I know they played together. So let me see what he said. Two things actually. We'll talk about the actual basketball one second. The first one is Coach Jones had y'all out there in some ponies.
Oh man, yeah. Our freshman year, man. So let me back up. As an eighth grade, I won the first basketball middle school championship at Bouchard Middle School. All right, so that's number one. Um, but yeah, we got the Huguenot, man, and what was out, man? The Flight 93s, the Flight 89s, they were the low cut joints, and I had the all green with the white stripe. So I'm thinking that's what I'm rocking, right?
Mhm.
Frank and Fats and all of them, Gip, Ron Kelly, they wearing Air Force Ones or Delta Forces looking sweet. And Big Bo poured out the all white ponies, man. High top, no sole in them, cardboard sole, you know. And I was about 5'11" at that point, 6 feet. So, you know, I had to get into a 13. And I mean, yeah, it just looked like, yeah, a
Oh,
big vanilla Sunday, man. That's what it looked like, man.
you
But
said
ask anybody that 1989, they will know. And yeah, they'll know. And they probably were leftovers from 87 or 88, man. I don't know what was going on. I think Big Bo had a sponsorship with Pony or something. But he did not put the varsity team, he did not put the varsity squad in them.
wow, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. He also brought up actually we talked about it a little bit before as well. You played against excuse me, one of the NBA's greatest guards of all time, Allen Iverson. What was that experience like for y'all facing off against Bethel?
Man, so that was our senior year, and that summer, man, I played Metro, I played AAU ball, I played with Richmond Metro, and I played with Squires as well. But that summer before that, I played Metro. And we had a nice squad. So Harold Dean, James Pelham, Ed Sherrod, Carlisle Thompson from Petersburg, Jazz Coleman, Steve Glenn. So anyway, we had a squad, and the crazy thing about it is that Boo Williams never beat us. They never, and they had Rutland, Iverson. They had their squad, Bayco,
Hmm.
you know, but I don't remember them beating us in that 17 and under tournament, but it didn't matter because they won the national championship that year, right? Um, but so I had been exposed to Chuck ever since we were probably like eighth, ninth grade anyway. And I mean, just to see how he came from being like 5'6", 5'7" as an eighth grader to this monster at 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet. I mean, it was amazing. But it was standing room only at Fort Eustis, man. We played them in the Christmas tournament. I'm talking people standing up on the sideline. If you had to take the ball out of the sideline, the referee had to like slide people back.
Mm.
and it was packed. It was hot, and that Joker dropped 48 points on us, man.
48?
48, fastest human being I've ever been on a basketball court with in my life. I remember hitting the three, and I didn't sprint back, right? But I kind of jogged back, left my hand up for the follow through. I'm on the back of the 1-3-1 zone, Mike. I turned around. Chuck is at the free throw line, pulling up over our center. That's how fast he was. So, but yeah, he was, yeah, I mean, amazing, man. And I actually had a chance to referee a couple of celebrity games or pro-am games that he played in as well.
Oh,
And he
yeah?
didn't go hard, but you could just tell that if he wanted to turn it on at any given moment, that was it. But yeah, great experience, man. And that 757 crew, man, a lot of great talent from down there. But I would put that five or whatever against that Richmond squad that we had, and Tony Saunders was another one, locally that was a monster as well.
Mhm. Man, I don't want to, I don't want to be the old guy. I feel like, man, they don't do it like it used to be done, man. And I, like I said, I'm not trying to insult or be the old guy, like, our way is a better way, whatever. But I feel like it ain't the same. I feel like it ain't the same.
Yeah, I think I think it changes with the generations, right? So
Right.
I'm sure that, Cass was saying whenever 93, me, Moan, Bo, whoever, our time, old heads were like, yeah, they soft, we would have crushed them, et cetera. So I think that goes with being an athlete, right? We all got a
True.
little bit of ego if you was halfway decent. But I gotta tell you, man, I've coached since graduating from high school and in college. I've refereed as well. And it's different. That's all I can say. I will say that I think the kids now are more skilled. They've got more access to a lot of different things. Um, as far as drill work and things of that nature. I mean, I was self-taught for the most part. And honestly, me and Jerry outside of grandma's house, learning how to shoot and doing all that. Coach Buster, spending time with me down Bell Mead, but outside of that, self-taught. And just try to play as hard as possible. But it's hard to watch now, man. Like I've only gone to a handful of games in the last 3 or 4 years, and I have not made it from the first quarter all the way through the fourth.
Mm.
Like left out early or come late just to see the second half or something like that. But it's different, man, and it's evolving. But you got that Steph Curry effect, man. Everybody's shooting, and I mean, I thought I used to shoot deep, right? But a whole lot of people doing it now, making it look easy, as far as that's concerned. But the absence of the big man, especially here locally in Richmond, man, like Big Uri and all them cats. I mean, yeah, it won't have the depth of big men right now. Plus, if you got them, they want to pity pat the ball outside on the perimeter, and be like KD. So it's just, it might come back around, it might not, or they got to raise the daggone basket to 12 feet, man. So it's just.
Bruh. I hope that is not the case. I don't want to see the basket going nowhere, but I understand because everybody does everything at this point.
So a lot of people don't know this, but my, me and Jerry's other cousin, Rendell Miller, he was a decent shooter.
Rendell could shoot that, bro. Listen, since you brought him up, we was playing in a tournament at Sacred Heart in the summer. This man, I don't even remember giving him the ball. Like I'm sure I'm just like here. This man dropped 50 and walked out the gym.
I believe.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even. I was like, where'd he go? And my man Jay, I was like, bro, he hit 50. He just left.
Man, look, yeah. So I can remember always being around the game, and he was like that distant cousin that I knew he was my cousin, right? But it was one of those things that I'm like, oh, he can shoot, man. But him, Jimmy Bell, when he played at Manchester,
Oh,
you were on the squad.
you bring back
So,
the
so I mean,
old.
that's what I was around at eighth grade. You know what I mean? So even as an eighth grade or seventh grade, I was always going to the high school games and watching those cats and reading the newspaper. You know what I'm saying? So again, even as an adult, having a chance to play with Yuri in a couple of adult leagues and things of that nature, beating up on Todd Elliott and that crew. Take pride in that. We crushed them. I don't know if he told you this, but we crushed them in the first district championship game at Manchester. Whenever they joined
Nah,
the Virginia district.
he didn't mention that at all.
Yeah, lamb-based, whatever that means, lamb-based. That was in the article. That was in the title.
It was like that. Dang.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful, man. Absolutely. AJ, Mike Curtis, all of, yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to talk to them about that ASAP after this joint.
Absolutely. I'll send you the article. I still got it.
Word. So you went on to you went to Virginia State first, stayed there for a year and a half, and then you bounced out to CNU. You played ball at both of those. What was the I mean, I ain't trying to get into why did you leave? Or if you want to say why you left, I mean, that's
Look, I'm an open book, man. I was not prepared for college athletics.
mm,
As good as I think I was, coming from high school to college, it's just a different world, man. You get into college and you got a red shirt senior or a red shirt junior that's been through the ringer and they eating weights in the morning. You know what I mean? It's different. And that's when I really learned that even as a shooting guard, you still needed to have a post game.
mm,
You got different sets and all of that stuff that, it's just one of those things, man. Todd Pay, Jose Height, Gerald Britt. So all of these guys were in front of me, Willie Whitley, catch from DC. But I mean, it's just one of those things. I feel like had I stayed and we not had a coaching change, so that was the last year. My freshman year was Harold Dean's last year, Coach Dean's last year coaching. And I feel like from a continuity standpoint, I would have been fine, but that stardom, it wasn't going to be there. I was not that type of athlete, right? That it was just going to be there. Could I shoot? Absolutely. But I had to learn the game, man. And there's just one of those things that it was cats that was better than me. And I'm not, it is what it is. I was not that freak athlete. I couldn't jump out the gym. And I just didn't have that to lean back on as far as that's concerned. And I wasn't a point guard. I was a shooting guard. And if I had 7 second handles, I'd have been all right. I had 3 second handles and I was fine. If I could hesitate and get it, just give me a little bit of space, I was fine. But again, I just was not gifted with handles, and that just wasn't my game. At Christopher Newport, it's one of those things, man. Coming out of high school, you're thinking that D3 is not the place that you want to go, or you want to go D1 and all that stuff. I
mm-hmm.
mean, I had BMI and a couple other mid-level to lower-level D1s looking, but I didn't know what I didn't know. But I think if I had to do it over again, I mean, I might would have tried my hand at at a D3 off the bat and made sure I got my education and finished up and wrapped that up. And if that stardom would have came, it is what it is.
That's interesting because my guy Rashad Cannon, uh, he went to Purdue for track and then ended up coming back to Norfolk State, I believe. And now at this point, I think he's 30, like 30, 31.
Mhm.
He's like, man, all these kids want to go D1. You can go D2 and play. You can go D3 and play, and it ain't hurting you. You're gonna go D1, but you ain't gonna see the court. So
Yeah.
or see the field, I guess, whatever
Yeah.
sport it was.
Yeah, I mean, it was interestingly enough though, man. I played against the guard play. Honestly, it wasn't that different. It wasn't that different from D1 to D3, in my opinion. Um, it might have just been perfect timing of the stars line, and be it grades or, I mean, if I'd have been 6'4", 6'5", I would have been a totally different player than I was at 6'1".
Right.
At 4 inches, I think would have changed my life. Maybe I could have played at a D1 and maybe did some other things, but at 6'1", as slow as I am, that was not the move. Um, but man, I played against some real, real, real. I'm talking about solid guards in D3. I mean, Andre Bolton played on my team at Christopher Newport. He was All American, and Dre Bolton, honestly and truthfully, man, you match him up in summer leagues and the pro-ams down 757. You couldn't tell. You could not tell that he was a D3 player because he was giving people the business and he was making it hard for them. As far as that's concerned, Juan Dixon's little brother, I think his little brother, maybe the old Phil Dixon.
Hmm.
I mean, look, man, this cat coming across half court, the volleyball lines, that was his range. I mean, so it was some good. He played at Shenandoah, but it was some good, good times, and some guys could really play, man. So the big man is really the big difference between D1 and D3.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So after the hoop dreams started to fade, or I guess you let them go, you went ahead and ended up graduating from from VCU. And how did I guess fatherhood and marriage kind of work its way into your life?
Yeah, man. So I left Virginia State the first semester of my sophomore year. That's when I found out my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, was pregnant. So I had my first kid at 20, and I got married at what 22. So I mean, it was so within that 2 year period, man, it was, I had a lot going on. Still was chasing that round ball because I thought I loved it. I ended up liking basketball. I didn't love it. I liked it. Because I don't think I would have let it go so easily had I liked it. Had I loved it. Uh, but yeah, I mean, life happened, man. I ended up having two kids, 25 and 22 now, and I was working full time, going to school full time, and I had to grow up quick, man. Had to grow up real quick.
You are a girl dad,
Girl, dad, absolutely,
like
100%.
like me. I love it. I tell people, they always like, you don't want no boys. Personally, not really. I didn't really want boys. I wanted a daughter at least, but I at least wanted one daughter. Like if I had to have anything, I wanted a daughter. But I didn't have anything against having a son. I just
Right.
concerned about having a son. How did you think about having a son, or were you like ecstatic about healthy children? I guess.
I mean, yeah, I think as being a young man, you always want a son. You want that junior. And I'm actually, being envious of my friends that got sons and all that stuff. Just seeing, them in their sports and all of that. But at the bottom line, at the end of the day, man, it was all about having a healthy kid, and just fortunate enough to be in my kid's life, right? And sports was a very important part of it growing up. They actually used to go around to me as I was playing in adult leagues and all that stuff. They were in the stands.
Oh yeah.
And it's a prime example of us as adults just setting the tone and being leaders in our families or our community, because they saw me playing ball, so they took an interest in it, right? And I didn't force it on them at all. And both my girls played through like maybe ninth or 10th grade. They both ran track, were actually tremendous track athletes, but again, it wasn't me forcing it on them because I knew that it was more to life than just be it the track and field, basketball, whatever. So, but yeah, the boy, yeah, thought about it, but it wasn't one of those things that I was gonna keep trying either, because with my luck, it would have been girl after girl after girl. So
You would have had your own basketball squad,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. But been around the game, and honestly, man, being in the positions I've had as far as work and things of that nature, just being around some tremendous athletes, man, in my time in Suffolk and Chesapeake, um, and even in Boys and Girls Club, just being around boys, boys and girls for that matter. But the
Yeah.
mentorship that takes place with a lot of my alumni and cats that I can call right now, or they can call me if they need something. I mean, that's what it's all about. I don't have a son biologically, but I got plenty of sons out there.
Respect, respect. So, at well, now you are the COO, like I said earlier, of the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Richmond. What does that entail? And kind of explain for people who don't know what the Boys and Girls Club really is about. Can you explain it to them?
Yeah, so for years, man, we've been a staple hole in the community. It's been in Richmond since the 40s. A lot of people remember the club over on Robinson Street. They had the pool and the gymnasium. We sold that facility a couple of years back. But right now, what we're really focusing on is trying to put our efforts towards teenagers and even our alumni as they get out of high school and even into their careers. But establishing networks and opportunities for them to advance. Really getting out of the space of being like childcare for younger kids, but really focusing on that middle school and up. I've been in meetings. There are a lot of organizations that are serving the elementary school kids, right?
Right.
But it's less when you get to the middle school range, and then it's like maybe 4 or 5, at a large scale serving the high school kids. The other part about it is what we're also trying to combat and counteract is that old adage of, especially in our community, when you turn 18, you grown, right? It's like, get out. And, we're probably one of the only communities that really do that. And just being able to have a place where we can be a safety net for our alumni, if they fall off the track or they just need a boost or they need some assistance or whatever. So we're shifting towards that middle school, late middle school, high school, and alumni population, but still being able to provide services to younger kids as well.
That's great. That's great. And is there a comparison, I guess, from the Y to the Boys and Girls Club? Is that the same lane, like generally speaking?
Yes and no. We raise our money, 95% of our budget. So we've got like a 3.5 to $4 million budget, and 95% of that comes through donations and philanthropy, be it foundations, corporations, or individuals. And some of the other, like a YMCA, for example, they've got some other revenue streams because they are, fairly large, and you got the membership piece for the gymnasium and things of that nature.
Sure.
Our youth development work is similar, but they've got a lot more stuff that they have to offer for different audiences. Our sweet spot is serving marginalized communities. We're in Church Hill. We've got a location operating out of MLK Middle School during the school year, operate out of Fairfield Court. I actually opened that club up back in 1999. We're building a new facility right now at the corner of Creighton and 9 Mile Road, right in front of Creighton Court, old East Lawn Shopping Center, 32,000 square foot shopping center. And we're actually renovating about 16,000 square feet of it for Boys and Girls Club purposes. And it'll be for teenagers. So you won't have to worry about stepping over a little kindergarten or 6 or 7 year old. It'll be a place where teens can come in and can actually get to work and gain some skills and really focus on entrepreneurship opportunities. A pretty cool concept and setup, man. And we'd love to have you out when we get up and running. We've got a sound studio in there as well, and really having an idea of amplifying voice, right?
Yeah.
So our kids being able to actually produce and do podcasting, news channels, might be able to do an internet radio station, as far as that's concerned. So it's going to be a wonderful facility. As far as Boys and Girls Club is concerned, it won't look like anything that we currently have. And I wasn't great when all of that stuff started, but I am now. I'm ready for it to get up and running. So we're hoping that everything stays on schedule. It'll be late summer when we can get into that building.
Oh, this year.
Yep, this year. Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was about to ask you when it would be possibly finished, but man, that's great. That's great.
Yep.
And hopefully things on the world front will be a little smoother, little more. I don't know if we're going back to normal ever. Like I don't know if we're going back to 2020, like in January 2020, or even before that. But that's dope. That's gonna be dope for the kids, and that's kids from wherever, whoever can get there has
Yeah,
access.
so it'll be, I mean, because we're in Church Hill, it won't just be for Church Hill residents. We've got locations across the metro area. So we got a club in Southside, one in Northside, a couple locations in Church Hill. We also got a club down in Petersburg. So, we got buses, and we'll partner with folks for transportation, and we can actually get the community and kids to the building as well. But that's another piece of it. Like 8:30 to 2:30, kids are in school, right? So that's an opportunity for the businesses, for the community to actually come in and utilize the space. So we're actually looking at partnerships. We're looking at stuff like for workforce development for adults. So the very teens or kids that we might be serving, this is an opportunity to be, I guess, holistic in a sense, and be able to help serve the family as well and create opportunities and things of that nature.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah.
So what's next for you personally? Any other goals you have outside of the gig? Are you doing anything else at this point?
Yeah, man, trying to not to keep pushing it back on Boys and Girls Club, but when I talk to a lot of our alumni kids, just telling them the importance of having multiple streams of revenue and income. So really at this point, trying to figure out what that next step is for me. I think that what I'm doing at Boys and Girls Club is really me paying it forward, because without my coaches, Alex Irby, Coach Coffee, all of those guys, Coach Webb, I mean, they were so impactful on me. I think this is just me paying it forward in terms of my day job, so to speak. But definitely trying to figure out an avenue to get into real estate, potential financial planning and insurance, and those type of things as well. Just trying to figure out what's out there for the taking. And again, I've got a daughter right now that's into cosmetology, so she's just about to graduate that. But business ownership is important. You know what I mean? So now it's all about what am I leaving behind for her? What will she leave behind for her family and her kids as well when she has them? And just try to figure out, how do we build wealth? And that's not a personal thing that I have. That's a community-wide thing. And wealth building is really important. I'm not sold at what I was told as a kid that, home ownership is American dream. I could argue that that's the American nightmare right now, right? But there's some things we got to correct as a community and as a society, and we got to be comfortable going against the grain and looking at these these institutions of systemic racism, be it schools, housing, workforce, all of those things, man, because we can't fix one and think it comes back full circle. So for me right now, I keep trying to figure out if there's an avenue outside of it, but I keep getting pulled back into the community-wide aspect and wanting to give back and wanting to see improvement there.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. You can't fix all the problems. I was actually talking to my youngest daughter earlier, and she was telling me, why she wants to do the job that she wants to do in the future. And she was like, I feel like you have to make an effort to change something. You can't change everything, but you have to make an effort to change something. Because those small changes, if done by multiple people, multiple groups, multiple different lanes, is the only way to better things for the future, for real.
Yep. All about coordination, man. I think that this new generation, as much as I look at them and I turn it to my parents and all that, I'm sure you've done it as well, but they aren't like us, right? And I don't think that's always a negative. I think that this new generation has a lot of moxie with them. I think they, and sometimes it might be unwarranted, but they got a lot of drive, man. And it's just like, it's not even about getting it the right direction, but keep moving and be concerned when you run over something, right? Be concerned about it and be compassionate and keep going, but try to correct your wrongs and grow and not make the same mistake twice. But I just think that this generation now, they've got a lot of energy and desire that I don't know that our generation had, because I don't know that we knew we needed it, number one.
Yeah.
Whole concept of kids having a voice. I don't know how it was in your household, but we knew when we got that look, we needed to be quiet.
Right.
We were spoken at, not always spoken to, in a sense. But I mean, this generation, man, I mean, with the president, with Obama being president, and I don't know that there's we can't say right now that a black man or a black woman or a black girl can't be anything, because you truly can. Is it difficult for us? Absolutely, but it's still a chance that there's a lot of options and opportunities. College is not for all people, right? But entrepreneurship can be for somebody with a high school degree, a GED, or a master's degree or a doctorate. It doesn't matter. So, there are different ways to maximize making money out here and doing it legally, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you have any last thoughts you want to share, bro? Because we got into a lot of stuff for real.
Now, I appreciate you, man, and definitely, I know we got a lot of connections with the Manchester crew and all of those guys and family as well. But appreciate you. I've been checking you out. Keep doing what you're doing, and I appreciate everything, man.
No doubt, bro. I appreciate you as well. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, COO of the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Richmond, Sean Miller. Sauce out here.